Greetings! Welcome to the stream! It has been a while since we've done one of these, but thank you so much for being here, thank you so much for coming along. This is an incredibly exciting stream for me and for a whole bunch of other people you currently can't hear, but you'll be able to hear them in just a second. So today we have released a brand new audio drama. It's our new series. It's called Camlann. It's an incredible fantasy series that we spent most of last year making. And today, the first episode appeared in podcast feeds everywhere. And we thought we'd celebrate that and the fact that it is our amazing writer and director Ella Watts' birthday today. We thought we'd do a listen-along stream. We're going to be doing these every 2 weeks when a new episode of Camlann drops. And we're really excited to get into it. So I think we are more or less all ready to go. So if you give me just a minute just to fire on over to the Discord screen. So welcome, everybody. Hello, we are all on screen now. I said I would make that incredibly obvious, and I feel like I've done that now. Hello. This is our fantastic cast and crew of Camlann.
Look at them!
They have been incredibly kind and given up some of their time to come along and listen to this episode with us and talk a little bit about it. Should we start by introducing ourselves and who we are in this? I realize the names might not make sense to people because they've not listened to the episode yet, but we should probably do that anyway. Okay, well, Ella, should we start with you, as I feel like you'll have the best view on what the series is about, and you're better at talking about it than I am.
Okay. Hello. I'm Ella Watts. My pronouns are she, her. I am the writer and director of Camlann. It's my baby. Camlann, if you don't know, and I am amazed if you don't know what this is and you found your way to the stream anyway, congratulations, you're incredible. But if you don't know what Camlann is, it is an urban fantasy monster of the week style show set in a magical apocalypse. And it follows what I refer to as 3 idiots and a dog in Wales, although I feel slightly worse about doing that in front of the actors who play those characters. It's going to be 9 episodes. As Amber said, they're going to be releasing every 2 weeks. Each episode is going to be about half an hour long. I think that's about it. If we want to mention content warnings, maybe just because there are no show notes here, content warnings for this include fantasy violence and strong language and reference to grief. It is a post-apocalyptic show, so lots of people have died. However, there isn't any graphic violence on screen, and strong language is swearing, but not intense or X-rated swearing. We managed to hold the actors back from that. Okay. Mostly. There was one memorable line from Paul, which I really enjoyed. Having said that, let's start with Tobias. Please, could you introduce yourself?
Hello, my name's Tobias. Pronouns he, him. And I am playing Dai. And this project is wonderful. And for any of you that know anyone that's already here, they're all just brilliant, wonderful people. And I mean, we said that there's not X-rated swearing in the show. Does that mean we can't do it on the stream now?
No, you can swear, but please,
I'm curious what X-rated swearing is.
I know. I'm going in my head through what I would say I would not want to be here, and I'm like, I can't give you any examples because that would defeat the point.
Allai just regi yn Gymraeg a gweld pwy sy'n gwybod.
I don't. Well, okay, but what if there is someone watching or listening who actually does speak Welsh?
It's a little Easter egg.
Okay, you know what? The bonus content you get if you're a Welsh viewer is that you get the X-rated swearing. Thanks for being here. We appreciate you.
Your bonus word is cachu.
Okay. Thank you, Tobias.
From Twitch tomorrow, just being like, "Oh, I've had to ban your channel," and it's like, I don't
know.
No.
Be able to moderate this, so it could make Twitch learn something about the Welsh language. So I don't know. Broadly, it could be a good thing.
If Twitch has Welsh moderators.
Exactly. It could be an excuse. We could make them get one. Give someone a job. Anyway. Also, it's my 30th birthday. Forgot to mention that. Hi, it's my birthday. It's my birthday. So you have to be nice about my show because I'm so special. Okay, I'm done. Perry, please. Oh, Robin, please introduce yourself.
No, I could just go by Perry for the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Robin Holdaway, pronouns they, them. I'm playing Perry or Peredia, which I still don't know if I'm saying correctly. I've said that word so many times, it doesn't mean anything. Yes, I'm playing Perry, not the platypus. Yeah, I'm not sure what else to say. Sorry, every time, because in my head there were so many Perry the Platypus jokes. Can I say that? Is that copyrighted content?
You can.
Let's find out.
We're allowed to say on stream that we are aware of the existence of the outside world. We live in a world that has pop culture in it, and we are allowed to reference it. What we're not allowed to do is play an entire episode of Phineas and Ferb and say this was written by Tin Can Audio, and also if you want to give us money for it, give it here. So yeah, mentioning characters is fine.
Fantastic.
Angharad, please could you introduce yourself?
Sure. Hello, my name's Angharad. My pronouns are she, her, and I am playing Morgan in the show. And yeah, I mean, it's an awful audio drama, and I'm only here because it's Ella's birthday.
No, it's got awful. Everyone who is here, I know one person said on Tumblr that they'd taken time off work to be here for this, and I'm really sorry, but I need to tell you right now that like that was a bad decision because this is just so bad. It's such a bad audio drama. Like we gotta.
Yeah.
That's why we're all
I clearly just here because it was my birthday yesterday, and that's what we haven't said. Yeah, they're not here for your birthday; they're here for mine. And I am older than Ella,
which does make you superior in every way. Like as we all know, like fundamentally, Robin is a higher level than me, so they have access to more spells than I do. But one day I'll have the same amount of spells.
Somebody in the chat has pointed out that they hope it's like paid leave rather than like unpaid time off. Like,
claim this back on expenses somehow.
Yeah.
Just be like it was research into your field, like the relevant field. It's fine. Paul, last but not least, please introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Paul, pronouns he, him. I'm playing Gawain, and it is about freezing outside, so it's not like I'd be anywhere else other than here anyway.
So you're here because it's cold, Angharad's here because it's my birthday,
No
Robin's here because it was their birthday, Tobias is here so he can swear in Welsh. Amber, why are you here? This is your stream, so I feel like most people know you, but just in case there are new people here for Camlann, maybe it's worth also introducing you properly.
I'm here because legally the Scottish government has demanded that I am here to run these. Otherwise we don't get the money to make the show. So hello, I am my name's Amber. I don't think I've done a stream since I changed my name, so hello, I'm Amber now. Hello, my name is Amber Devereaux. My pronouns are they, them. I'm the sound designer and producer for this show. We are missing the other member of the production team. Ross is not here today, but Ross McFarlane is the other producer and is also amazing. I'm talking about him instead of me because it's easier for me. We love Ross very much, and he will hopefully be joining us for later productions. Thank you, Battlebird Productions, for complimenting my hair. I've been trying very hard to grow it out.
It's so pretty and luscious. We are also missing a core member of our cast, Nicole Miners, because she is on holiday skiing. And we hope that she's having a great time having that gorgeous holiday without us. And it's fine that we weren't invited. We don't even care. It's like, whatever. Nicole is playing a character called Shuzhen. And you have not heard her yet. She is not the first episode. So don't worry if you're like, oh, how did I miss that? Like, I can say that she's not in the episode. She's not in the episode. She's not credited in the episode.
Yeah,
is it a spoiler to say that someone isn't there?
Look, there are a lot of things running around my brain right now. Okay, I'm gonna say
no, it's fair.
things.
She is in the trailer and she is in all of our launch graphics.
That's
so if you missed her face and her voice in the trailer, then again, amazing lack of observation skills. But she is in fact part of the cast. We didn't just add an extra person in there to sort of keep you on your toes. But yes. Yeah, well, yeah, no, a whole jeez, how deep would we go into just like gaslighting our audience of just like, oh yeah, that actor? Why are you asking about her? Who is she? I've never heard of her.
It's a fantasy series, even the cast list is a fantasy.
Or you just make the show credits really confusing, and at the end of every episode until Nicole appears, and just say, in future episodes, Nicole will be playing.
No, but you see, we can't do that because I have to voice the show credits, and I'm not an actor, and Amber knows how long it took me to do the credits, and I can't make them more complicated than they are. I really struggled.
We spent maybe like 2 hours recording the credits for the series at the end of the week, and then we realized maybe like 3 weeks ago that we'd missed a few credits out, and we had to change them.
No.
Ella had to re-record them.
I just want to say, it wasn't that we missed stuff. It was that Amber texted us and said that they'd found a violinist and we'd added a violinist to the series. And so now we needed to change all the credits because Amber was like, but I've just added a violinist to all of the music. So Ella, you need to redo the credits. And I was like, fair enough. But don't just say this is on me. It wasn't just me.
And the violinist is played
was
by
very
Nicole
moving,
Minus.
No, the lovely Alessa Cattrall, who did additional music direction for our series, and who we appreciate and value, even if I am currently using you to get one up on Amber.
Truly, is there any greater calling?
I mean, right? Like that's what I'm saying.
Shall we listen to an episode? Shall we listen to our delightful episode? Amazing. Right, we're going to disappear for a bit while you listen to this episode. We're going to let you listen to the episode in peace. And then we're going to be back, and then we're going to chat about how it was made, what we did, and hopefully tell some nice stories. I had a good time. I don't know about you guys.
This is the moment where everyone is like, and then this is why I hated them.
Everyone is noticeably quiet now that I've said that. Okay, thanks. That's great. Okay.
It was wonderful.
Okay, we're going to disappear off. We will see you in about 25, 30 minutes. Enjoy the show, I guess. Enjoy. We'll see you soon.
If I'm gonna tan vela tan and llyn. If I'm gonna tan vela tan and llyn. Tan yn ein calon a than yn ein gwaith. Tan yn ein crefydd a than dros ein iaith. Tan, tan. If I'm gonna tan fel y tan yn llyn. Listen, I'm going to tell you a story about hope. Well, it's a story about losing hope. It's a story about losing everything and everyone. Even the people you didn't know you loved until... Anyway, the point is that this is big. I've got so much to tell you I feel like I could have forever and I wouldn't have enough time. I guess it's kind of like life that way. But this story is nothing like the life you've known before. This is a story about magic and monsters. It's about knights and dragons, witches and kings. It's about life and death and dreams and love and everyone who's ever hidden in the dark where you think they can't see you. Yeah. Me too. I think sometimes things get so bad you become convinced that the only way out is to burn it all down and try again. Let's start there. One day, the world ended.
Oh, Sweet Holy Mary, Mother of Jesus. Perry!
Die! Up here! He can't climb the slope, come on!
How the hell am I supposed to get up this thing?
Take my hand.
Morgan! Oh my God! You're alive. You're bleeding.
I'm fine. Take my hand, Die, quickly.
Where's Galette?
Running interference. Are you both okay? Fine.
Morgan's bleeding. I don't want to alarm you, but has anyone noticed that the giant pig is gaining on us?
I'm on it. You have a plan?
One that doesn't require any stupid noble idiots sacrificing themselves, right?
Do you see that cottage? Proper old stone Welsh walls. I think if we can get inside, it'll hold up even if Godfrey does catch up with us. Not sure that's an A.
Sorry, did you just say Turktroy? As in Keeloch a Galwan with a comb on his back?
That's the one. Poison spines too, which is fun for us. Gal! Harry, whatever the plan is, we need it now. Morgan, pick the lock on the door and get Die inside, whilst me and Gallet run interference to buy you time.
Oh, I hate that plan.
Sounds good. On my mark. Go! Hey, you giant pig! Over here! Over here, look! Nice, tasty snack! Come on! Waiting for you! Here, let's go to me! Over here!
I didn't agree to this!
Come on! Over here! Don't even think about it!
I'm just gonna stand here and watch them die!
Is this it? Is this the moment where you want to find out whether you have any real power?
Fine!
That's what I thought. Get it! Wait!
Morgs, not to rush or anything, but I think we're running out of time.
Try and die!
Hey, it's okay. Look at me. Seriously, we've got seconds. Breathe. Slow down. You can do this.
Really, honey, blow that door open!
Perry?
Okay, I think we're safe.
Since when?
Let me look at that. Di, where are you going?
Just looking around.
Okay, this is probably going to sting a little bit, but just stay.
Hey. If there's anyone here, you can come out now. That thing is gone. You're safe. We're not going to hurt you. We're the good guys. Hello? Please? Okay. That's understandable. All things considered. No one.
Di.
You okay, Morgan?
I'm fine. Perry's still good with a needle.
I think I'm getting better.
Yes, you are. So. What now? Camlann, Episode 1. Keep the home fires burning.
Morgan, are you able to move?
I've had worse.
Not sure that answers the question.
We live in the apocalypse, Di.
Speaking of which, let's do a search of the premises. You know the drill, standard phenomena warning signs. Skittering, hissing, unearthly whispers, weird smells, and indescribable feeling of melancholy, all that jazz.
Who's going where?
Morgan, I want you in the garage. See if there's anything we can salvage, but please don't strain yourself. Your pain tolerance scares me, but I don't want to have to sew you up again. We're getting short on sterilised thread.
I promise not to tear my stitches.
What about me?
Di, you do another check of this cottage. If there's anything here, it's the kind of creature that prefers to stay hidden.
An ambush predator. Great.
And you, Perry?
I'm going to take the studio down the hill.
The one half buried in the woods? Absolutely not. That's suicide.
I'm the only one here with a name. I'll be fine. We're nearly out of food, let alone meds and fuel. We need supplies now.
You were the only one here with a knight's name. But, point taken. Be careful.
When am I not?
Do you actually want us to answer that?
Walkie-talkies?
Aye, aye, Captain.
Salt, iron, silver?
Call me Dean Winchester.
No.
Spoils sport.
Okay, see you guys back here in an hour.
Gallant! Eel!
Have fun with nature! Blankets. Blankets. Wool blanket. Ooh, magazine. And another wool blanket. Hello there. I know you. CB radio, right? And if you have batteries, then... Yes! Oh, I'm a genius. Okay, well, Morgan's a genius because she's the one who actually got obsessed with these when she was 13, but...
have been severely disrupted. The number of casualties and the extent of
Yeah.
yet known.
Who else is out there? Hello? Hello? Bravo Alpha Niner. Can you hear me? Is anyone out there? Take me to your leader.
Di?
Nope.
Absolutely not. Di? Hello? What? Hello, is anyone there? If you can hear me, I can hear you. I'm here. Hello? Jesus Christ, I thought you were dead. Hello? Can you hear me? Di? Di? Are you there? Please?
Oh god, this is real. Hello? Are you actually Gwaine? My Gwaine, Gwaine Turner, because if you're not, then you have to tell me right now.
What?
If you're a ghost or an echo or whatever, then I don't think I can do this.
You think I'm one of the phenomena?
Can you prove you're not? Gwaine?
Blue M&Ms.
What?
You hate blue M&Ms.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. You always pick them out and put them aside. Whenever you share a packet, the only ones that are left are blue. Every time. They don't even taste different.
It's actually you.
Your turn.
Sorry?
Oh, you've convinced me this could all be a really horrible trick. Convince me that you're my Di.
April 1st, first year.
Hi.
Hi.
Right, let's see what we got here. What are you... Well, that's pointless. Oh, could use this. What do you... Okay, that's also pointless. This could be good. Oh, fuck! Oh, Jesus, Perry, don't do that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you.
It's fine, just jumpy.
How's it looking?
Good. Amazingly good, actually. I'm guessing they were hippies or something. This place is pretty much self-sustaining. I honestly don't know why they left. I mean, the cataclysm hit the cities hardest, right? This is basically the perfect place to weather the apocalypse.
Unless there's something hiding in the woods.
Did you find anything?
No, but I'm not ready to let my guard down yet.
I think we should stay here. At least for a few days. I mean, they've got water filtration, food. I actually think I might be able to get this truck working. Perry, we've got petrol.
Basically luxury.
Calling Di Frodo was only going to go so far to convince him to keep hiking.
Fair point.
How was the studio?
Good. I mean, hippies or preppers, they've got enough medical supplies down there to last us a year at least. If we're lucky and we don't get attacked too often.
Lithium?
No, we'll need to go into town for that. But he's not out yet, right?
No, he'll tell us.
I agree about staying here. You're right about the supplies and it's getting colder. I really don't want to be out in the woods come Samhain. And I don't know how we're going to survive wild camping in Wales in midwinter.
Have you spoken to Di?
Not yet.
He's not gonna love it.
He'll understand.
I thought you were dead.
Funny how that happens.
Where are you? What happened?
Shouldn't I be asking you that question?
I
I mean, you're the one who left in the middle of the night with no explanation. The one who abandoned us in the heart of Banai Brycheiniog, surrounded by Gragedd Annwn and dead kings and God knows what else. You stole half our food.
It wasn't.
Perry knew you'd betray us. They said you were a coward. They said it from the start. They didn't even want to let you come. They knew you'd go running back to Arthur the second you got the chance. But not me. I'm the idiot. I'm the gullible, stupid idiot who insisted there was no way that you could have done that to us. To me. Because I trusted you. So instead, we mourned you. I mourned you. Because the only other explanation was that you'd been taken in the night and were dead or worse. We looked for you for weeks. We couldn't even find a corpse. And now you're alive. So explain that to me.
You don't know what it's like.
I think I've got an idea.
And all of this. Arthur, the knights, the story. It's always singing in the back of my head. It feels like someone put a magnet in my skull. I tried to fight it. I tried so hard, Di, but I just couldn't. I could feel it pulling against me like an elastic band with every step we took that took me away from it. I just wasn't strong enough.
Why didn't you tell me?
I didn't want to feel weak.
Gawain.
That doesn't matter now. I'm getting out.
But you just said...
I'm choosing a different story. Gawain doesn't always stay in Arthur's court. He adventures. If I focus hard enough on the right stories, they give me an escape route.
You're not in Glastonbury.
Bristol. I hide from the patrols, mostly, so I found this thing in the first place. Di, I want to find you. That's why I left. It's the story I made for myself. I'm a damsel in distress.
I'm not a damsel. I am in distress.
So, give me a heading.
You already betrayed us once. Betrayed me. How do I know this isn't some ploy for Arthur to get Perry back? Or Morgan?
I wouldn't.
You did.
Look, I can't stay here. I'll take this with me. Keep using this frequency. Just think about it, alright?
Wales. We're in Wales. Head northwest. And Gawain?
Yeah.
Please don't die again.
I make no promises.
Tell me again what we're doing here.
It's a surprise.
Great. Is it a surprise we can open inside where it's slightly less freezing cold?
No, just give me a minute. Perry, can you help me with this?
I'm not sure I want to be complicit in whatever this is.
Three, two, one. Thank you. Right, so we're staying here. It's the little cottage that could. Fine.
Honestly, you were taking it better than I thought you would.
I love you too, Morgan.
This relates to the big pile of wood. How?
Obviously, the biggest problem with living our best hermit lives is that our chances of finding anyone else who survived the cataclysm have plummeted right down to infinitesimal.
Not necessarily a bad thing.
So, I have decided on direct action. Drumroll, please. Come on.
Die? We need that.
What are you doing?
I'm lighting the beacons. Anyone who's anywhere near here will see this and know that we're safe, that we're alive, and that they can come and find us.
Oh my god.
Do you have any idea how dangerous this is? Have you thought about it at all? What if it attracts the phenomena?
But then we'll handle it.
What if we can't handle it?
We'll figure something out. Morgan, seriously. It's the end of the world. We're on our own. It's been 9 months and the only other people we've seen in all that time are those morons in Glastonbury. If anyone else survived, then the odds are that they're alone too. They're lost and scared and cold and looking for a light in the dark. We can be that light. It's worth the risk.
What if the knights see it?
From Somerset. Look, my geography's bad, but...
They'll be looking for us. For me and Perry.
And they haven't found us yet. Please, just let me try.
If anything happens, and I mean anything, we're putting it out.
Yes! Caveats.
Yeah, all right, I'm great. Now I'm going back inside. Come on, Gellert.
Barry?
It's not a terrible idea.
You hate it.
It's just...
Just what?
I envy you, I guess.
Envy me? Envy what?
I guess... I don't believe the world is coming back. I don't think we get that choice. I think... probably... this is it.
I don't either.
Yeah, you do. See you inside, okay? It'll be getting dark soon. Don't stay out too long.
Camlann, Episode 1, Keep the Home Fires Burning, was written and directed by Ella Watts. It was produced by Amber Devereaux.
That is episode 1 of Camlann. I hope you enjoyed it. We hope you enjoyed. It was wonderful to listen to it with everyone, because like we've not been together since October when we recorded the series. And thank you everybody for watching. I'm gonna do some tech stuff, so Ella, if you just want to take over while I fix this.
Alrighty. Am I talking over myself, or can
I'm
no
fading
one...
you out very slowly and artistically,
Okay,
as
cool,
though I
cool,
know what I'm doing.
I've always wanted to fight my doppelganger, and I thought we were going to kind of have a poetry battle. I
can turn it back up if you like. It's
no,
still there. No, okay, I'll turn it
don't.
back
No.
How many tiny versions of yourself could you fight? That's the question. I mean, I'm literally, I just think, you know, you're fighting a doppelganger, that's just, you know, going to be, that'll take a while, but tiny versions, I reckon I could take at least 3.
Oh yeah, no, I could fight a lot of tiny versions of myself, but my answer to the "what would you do if you met your clone" question is not violence. And it's up to you to figure out what other answer it is. Anyway, how are we all feeling now that the episode has been done? I really enjoyed watching folk in the chat. That was absolutely delightful. There were lots of great guesses and comments. I think one of my favorite ones, which was so cute, was like, someone was like, "Oh, the reason that Di doesn't like blue M&Ms is he thinks they're Gwen's favorite, so he saves them for him, and that's why." Like, I was like, that was adorable. Also, Di has probably dressed as Frodo for Halloween. What do you think, Tobias?
Wow. Wow. I don't die.
Okay, we did have this conversation before. We talked about swords. Let everyone get your swords out if you've got swords. You got 'em.
If you've got a sword, flaunt it.
only-
This is patented
Well,
sword
one
time.
of them isn't mine. One of them is my friend's.
There we
This
go.
is my friend's sword. It looks more Arthurian.
I don't even have anything.
It's kind of
Sword.
too big for one hand. You sort of want to be two, but it's also too small for two. It's quite, it's an odd size.
I mean, hey, I love it. Like, also, nice one, Lou, for recognizing Tan and Tlin. I am genuinely impressed. We are all genuinely impressed. Lou has a podcast, by the way, everyone. It's an audio drama called Ela's Choice. It's fantastic, kind of Dishonored vibes in terms of like eldritch seafaring stuff going on. It's got B. Nar, who plays Faulkner in the Silt Verses. You will very likely really love it. There's singing in it, which I appreciate. I love a bit of singing in an audio drama. How was that? I realized that, Tobias, we said in our casting call that we would make you sing, but I never actually asked how you felt about it. I was just like, sing now.
To be honest, it was really fun just in terms of hearing those songs and looking up those songs, because I say those songs, spoilers. But yeah, it's just stuff I'd never heard before, even like growing up in Wales and speaking Welsh and listening to Welsh music, and like, I've never heard these. So it was really nice in terms of actually singing them. It was fun. No, it's the weird stressful thing of I don't think I've ever actually had to sing and be recorded singing before. So I'd never heard myself recorded sung. It's fine, I guess. I don't know.
It's different. Well, Paul, you were saying as well, like, obviously you do quite a lot of voice acting, I believe, but you said it was really unusual hearing yourself played back through like 3 layers of like through a walkie-talkie radio, through the Discord, through the stream, like, apparently.
Well, yeah, and like even before that, during the actual production of the thing, like the way it worked is I came in on the last 2 days, and for I think it was for the whole of the first day and a little bit of the second day, all of the scenes I guess, where I'm talking over the radio, I was in a completely separate room. There was a whole, like, it was an actual radio I was talking into. I had to, I was taught how to use that and stuff. And like, genuinely, it was like, I guess it helped because I've never had that dynamic before. I guess like most of my recording I do is all totally remote. So it was a really interesting. It helped, I think. Like in terms of like the whole method acting stuff.
I was saying to Ross and Ella the day before. Oh, I think everyone's frozen. I think.
Are you frozen?
Hello, is everyone back? Everyone sort of ducked out.
Hello.
Back. Amazing.
So, yeah,
okay, all right.
Come back and greet everyone from a hobbit hole, and I'd give it a different name each time, and it was brilliant.
We did quarantine you, and I apologize for that, and what it did to our collective psyche. But no, we used a lot of props in recording. Sometimes they were affecting the sound, sometimes they were just for your performance. So, for example, Gellert, who is Morgan's dog, is played by Hobbs the Lion. Angharad, how do you feel about Gellert / Hobbs the Lion? This is Hobbs.
Crying. I haven't seen him for so long. I mean, honestly, the best actor I've ever worked with. Just so giving, so truthful, always coming up with new ideas in the moment. Just an absolute star.
Well, and then
yeah, no,
you go
on. Oh yeah, I was just gonna say no. It was really cute because like I did create like a little relationship with Hobbs So it was actually very, very helpful to have him there, even though it's a lion and not a dog.
No, I remember there's a scene where like Gel leaves the room to follow Morgan, and you guys passed Hobbs from one to the other, despite the fact that had no effect on the sound, like really ceremoniously. we like, I think I told you that you didn't have to, and you guys were like, no, we need to. It's like, okay.
I don't think I gave you background on Hobbs when we did the recording, but like, so one of Hobbs's ears is loose because I kept pulling on it when I was a baby, and he's only got one whiskers on one side of his face because I pulled them all out. He is a very old lion, but it is one marvelous. Like, I'm really glad that this worked. Because we sort of talked about it before, being like, right, well, whenever the actors need to interact with Gullert, we'll give them Hobbs and say like, this is Gullert, this is the dog. But I was kind of like, right, either all the actors are going to be like really into this, or they're going to think I'm they're just going to think this is the silliest thing I've ever asked anyone to do, and they're going to be insulted by it. But luckily, everyone seemed up for it, which was good. And dressing him up. And...
I stayed with Amber for a week before we started recording because we did an open casting process for this. So like Amber and I didn't know any of our wonderful cast really before we started recording, because we really wanted to try and make sure that we did a proper casting process. And that I stayed with Amber for a week before we started, and there was a lot of discussion of what the actors would think. For example, on the first day, the first thing we did was take you all outside, and Robin in particular, you had to do quite a lot of like running around in that ball scene at the very start of the episode. How was that for you as like a beginning to the recording?
Oh, it was delightful. I like running around. It means I got all my, zoomies out before we had to make me stand still and say things. No, it was great. It was genuinely so much fun, and I think I got told to do less by the end. So you don't need to make the crossbow sound. I know what I do. No, it's the lightsaber problem. If you're pretending you've got a weapon, you do need to make the weapon noise. It was very cold from memory,
Yes.
so I was quite grateful to be moving, and there were a lot of washing lines in the way, so it became a little bit of an obstacle course.
Yeah.
But I did sort of have in the back of my brain, okay, we're fighting a giant boar whose name I can't pronounce. But we can do silly things, and I'm sure a lot of my ad-libs didn't make it into the episode, but... including what was it? It was just here, juicy meal, you can come and get. Yeah, there was. I think it got quite strange. So that was day one, and yeah, I'm mostly well up for if you running around and making strange noises is kind of our job. So I thought that was great fun. It was a good way, I think, for getting all of us to bond a little bit, because we were all doing a very silly thing together, and we were all kind of. It got rid of any of the awkwardness, and we all just hoped that the audio was usable, and it was.
It was, which was a great relief for everyone.
Yeah, no, I really had a thing where like there was those two things. I mean, first of all, the relationship between Perry and the board needed to be in a certain direction that was not too tasty, and second,
I'm just a very tasty snack.
Yeah, you are. But the second problem was that Tobias, as Dai, had to come like running in. So like we kind of had Angharad and Perry on one side, like kind of being like on the hill, and then Tobias had to come running in. Now Tobias, like, is a reasonably tall person, and like had to run towards the washing line, and I was standing to the side. I could just see him like running at the washing line every single time. I just had this like horrible vision of what would happen if you slipped.
I mean, I think overcommitted. Well, firstly, I've never been called reasonably tall, so thank you. At 5'10", that's a wonderful thing. But also, I remember the very first thing we shot, you were like, yeah, if you want to come in and run up. And I went really far back.
Yes, you did.
No, you don't need to go that far. If you want to, it's fine, but you don't need to.
We had that problem quite a lot with you in the series, I think, where we would ask you to do something and you do it like 250%. Like there's a bit later in the series where Tobias had to ad-lib, and we could not stop him. There's also a drum roll in episode 1 where Tobias like started.
I might
and the way
actually
he
get
did
the
the
audio.
drum.
Hang on.
Have you got it?
Yeah, of course I've got
the
it.
outtake.
I have everything.
Fantastic.
It's important to me though that you don't just hear this. Like the people watching understand the visual that we had, which was like Robin, Angharad, and Tobias are standing around the microphone, and Tobias decided to do the drum roll like on his chest, so he's just standing there like just doing this.
I will
making eye
physicalize it. I'm going to mute myself as this is playing, and I will physicalize it.
Oh, hang on.
You're such a
They
good
want
sport.
the people want the blooper reel.
I'm trying to make sure I use the right one because I don't want to give away.
No, we'll just cut in on someone. Yeah, we'll cut in on someone else's like random blooper.
Did I know?
Like we found out that Angharad had a cat allergy on the first day of recording when we recorded this episode, because Amber has a lovely cat called Poppy. People who are familiar with the stream will have seen Poppy before, and yeah, Angharad, how did it feel to find out that he had a cat allergy on the first day of recording an audio
It
drama?
was so sad because I love cats. And I just wanted to pet the cat, but the cat made me very sick. So if you can hear a slight bit of snot in that episode, it's Poppy's fault.
No, you see, actually,
no,
it's method acting.
Yeah. It's because of the apocalypse. Morgan's just not been taking her vitamins. So, yeah.
It helped with the cold acting.
And I found out my... Yeah, I found out my allergy wasn't as bad as I thought it was, so...
Hey!
That's all right.
You kind of traded a bit. Like Paul gave you a bit of his cat allergy, Angharad.
Okay, I found the blooper.
I found a cat
Anytime.
match, so I was delighted.
Wait, Amber, have you got the blooper up?
I found the blooper. Yeah.
Okay, well, Tobias, you
Right.
said you'd act
You
it,
ready?
so
You ready for this? Okay.
So, I have decided on direct action. Drum roll, please.
we can't hear anything.
What?
You kind of did your like sitting thoughtfully thing, and I was like, I bet they think it's playing.
I think it's playing on the stream. I don't think it's going through the.
You need to
Okay, well, you could just give us a sign. You can cue us. We can use our imagination to
No,
pretend to
there's
hear
a better
what
way
it
of
is.
doing this. Sorry, everyone. Everyone's going to hear it twice, I think. Hang on. It's live.
Live studio audience.
Just
Well, you know, like,
imagine if we recorded
talk amongst
Camlann with live
yourselves.
studio audience.
it
What
would
would
have
that be
worked.
like? Oh my god.
Angharad would break the set. Tobias would hurt himself. Paul would come in at the last minute, and Robin, you'd mostly be responsible for helping everyone back to their feet.
Oh, good. We are all our characters. Fantastic. We're very well cast.
Yeah, no, we did a great job. And then Nicole will turn up wearing like the nicest outfits. Nicole is also a model, so it is like her job. But I swear to goodness, she turned up on like day 3, and she had like this like incredible outfits, and I was like, man, I feel bad. I'm in like a 3-day-old t-shirt.
Yeah, we're all there sort of going, okay, I'm staying for like a week, and that's not really long enough to... I do need to bring new stuff, but I don't want to carry stuff and get in the train. And so, yeah, if you see pictures, we just get... Oh, I say we. I just get gradually scrottier throughout.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, me too. And I live here, and that's what happened to me too.
Me and Amber were like deep in scrungle hell by the end of the week. We had a great time. We had a great time, to be clear. But I think our appearance just kind of was like it was.
We
became
were all
less
going through
relevant.
various graphic tees, which was enjoyable, I think. For
Oh, the graphic t-shirts were so good. People had so many good t-shirts. I very much enjoyed them.
Okay, I have the blooper now, and everyone can hear it now. Okay, are you ready, Tobias? Are you ready for your performance? Okay, right. It should be on now.
So, I have decided on direct action. Drum roll, please. Is there another line before I say?
You need to pick up the. You need to stop. Pick up
I just stood looking. It's like everyone's looking at me. What have I done
you
wrong?
Need to stop. Pick up the petrol for it.
A slow peter out of just dying.
Genuinely, to anyone listening who has ever experienced that thing of looking at a group of people that you've not worked with for that long, and the thought of, have I fucked up somewhere? What have I done? It's like,
It was just like so for context, I couldn't see the actors while we were recording. I was looking at the computer screen, so I was just listening to this, and I was like, "Why is it still going? It's such a long drum roll."
I think I remember as well. I was sitting next to Amber facing the actors, and I think I tried to like make a cutting noise at Tobias, and he wasn't looking at me. It's just like, well, all right. This is where we're at. Also, sorry to abuse the stream, but just to say, since I have the power of being the person who gets to talk, Max, I could definitely fight more than 6. This is how many?
What? Depends how big they were.
Are you using the stream to like just sort out your own beef? Like,
I could fight 12.
Are you making a call out? But you hijacking the stream to make a call out post?
For my partner, yes. Who is saying that I could not fight more than 6 versions of myself. You are both overestimating my skill and underestimating my skill. You're assigning the tiny me's too much of my skill. I'm sorry, everyone.
Do they have proportional brain size? Like, what are they losing?
That's
what tiny ones. Do they lose speech, or do they lose like hand-eye coordination?
Well,
what?
so Max's point is that if they were tiny me's, then they would have my skill level, and therefore they would be. You know what? This is irrelevant.
I was going to say, I think we may have
No. We need to get to the bottom of this.
Okay, well, Dai couldn't fight any tiny hymns because he's like, I love him, but
he wouldn't fight them. He'd befriend them.
He would trip over them. They would, yeah, exactly. They would deceive him immediately. Like, Morgan could fight like 50. She'd be fine. Perry, I think Perry would have a real like kind of humane problem, where they'd be like, I just feel like squishing them isn't acceptable. And so Perry could have fought more of them, but Perry is like trying really hard. It's like fighting with one hand behind their back, where they're like, oh, I don't want to kill them because they're such an interesting phenomenon.
So, Rooney Runes in chat.
Army.
Sorry,
we wouldn't fight each other. We'd just all combine. That would be the only way to get a PhD done, is all those tiny ones. That's the only way. I would put them to work, and they would be paid ethically. See, this is the plan.
I think Gwaine would struggle because the tiny hymns would just sort of amplify and compound the moral guilt that he's going through. Like, it's that kind of thing of every time he looks at himself in the mirror, except there's like 15 of them.
But they could have an M&M each.
They could have an M&M each.
Really,
And that would, it would be like a.
Gwaines are all buff. They're all just got skinny, but they just got like.
They compacted the muscle, like.
So,
although I am really enjoying the mental image of like, you know, tiny Gwaine with an M&M that is like the size of
like
a
squirrel
hamburger.
with an acorn.
yeah.
Slowly rolling on it.
So Rooney Runes in chat has said we're learning what the boss fight of this in the season finale will be, which I think is very funny. Just an army of tiny
You're
versions.
saying it's irrelevant. Just wait till season 12.
Yeah. And there's
know.
definitely going to be 12 seasons. No.
Stop saying these
although
things,
there actually is like there is an overall storyline that I do have planned. So like we don't know if we'll make more of Camlann, but if we did, then we know what the rest of the story is. It's kind of going in that direction. And this is a relevant moment after this compelling chat about fighting tiny versions of ourselves that's really made you believe in our artistic integrity and the community value of what we're doing, to say that if you want to give us some money, we actually do have like a Ko-fi and a Patreon where you could give us like £1 or £2. The reason that we have it is that whilst we have government funding from Creative Scotland, as Amber has mentioned, and an American disability organisation called the Inevitable Foundation, that was for season 1. Like that whole budget is kind of accounted for in just producing this series. If we wanted to make more, if we wanted to make merchandise, if we want to do a live show, and if we wanted to do a season 2, we will need to get the money from somewhere. We haven't yet applied for future funding and we don't know if we'll get any. So basically, if anyone is like, oh, I really like this and I want to give you some cash, please do. We will use it to make more of this show if you like it.
Yeah, give me 2 seconds and I'll put the Ko-fi link in the chat for people.
And we promise the money will not be used to fund sciences to make tiny versions of ourselves.
No, we promise.
No, but if we have merchandise, that would be tiny versions of us. Because just see, that's our plan.
Do you know what? Like, actually, this whole time, this was a relevant topic, and we did it on purpose. It was scripted.
I want the chat to tell us what merchandise they want to see, and I want that I want that to go throughout the season. It's just the merchandise chain.
Well, Amber has been getting very excited about doing Spotify polls, and I think like the first poll has just been like yes giant boar or no giant pig, like, and it's just everyone's been voting yes giant pig. So sorry guys, but they're on the side of Talk Choice. They're not on your side.
By the way, everyone is saying tiny swords.
Tiny swords, tiny swords. No, actually. I do want to say though, like if we did do a live show, I've got an idea for what it would be, and it would basically be you guys like before you get to the cottage whilst you're like in the wilderness, and I think that would be really fun. Like, what were your journeys on the road between like the nights and finding your way to Wales? So maybe in Banau Brycheiniog or like somewhere else, but yeah, it'd be cool. Because for example, we could have Gwaine there because he only abandons you halfway through and takes all your food.
But Paul would have to be in a booth off stage.
Paul would have to be in a booth. We couldn't let anyone see Paul's face. We would put a paper bag over Paul's head just so that like no one.
I think this is becoming something else.
Is this a weird moment to say there is also a tiny sword downstairs that's my wife's miniature sword hairpin, so I have got another sword.
Oh, that's so cool.
But those are cool. You can get those already. And that's what that should fund. Tiny sword fund.
I really want one of those. Also, like Robin's wife is so cool. Again, not massively relevant to the episode, but Robin's wife is really cool. Just shout out to Robin's wife. Actually, if we're doing shout outs to spouses, shout out to Amber's wife Sarah, who does our marketing. Shout out to Tobias's wife partner, who may or may not be watching. But hey, shout
They're
out.
in the stream.
Shout out to Max, even though they betrayed me by saying that I couldn't fight 6 versions of my tiny self. Okay, wait. We should actually get back on point. I mean, is there anything in particular that any of you guys, our lovely cast, particularly like from the episode, particularly enjoyed recording? Is there anything that you're like, oh, I actually really like enjoyed doing that bit? Or was it just all later in the series and this one was not your favorite? Yeah. Cool.
I'm sorry, we were trying to pretend that we were cool on this one.
No, actually, I remember Ang Harad in that garage scene when she dropped something, like tried to break Amber's stuff. Because it
was yeah. Because I don't know, I was really nervous on the first day because it was my first acting job. I was like really intimidated by everyone. No, everyone was lovely, but I was still intimidated. And so I was really quiet and reserved to start with, and then I got given something to thwack, and I think to like make my presence felt, I just really, really thwacked it. And yeah, that kind of that broke the ice for me from then on, like throwing a spanner on the floor.
So Ang Harad's professional advice is if you're on set in a recording where you don't know any of the other actors or the crew, what you should immediately do is find a piece of set and break it like as hard as you can just on your first day. Just do that on purpose.
You could tell the flip as well between Ang Harad being nervous and not being nervous, because it was basically the snap between being quite quiet to me and Ang Harad bullying each other constantly throughout the recording days.
I do have to say, I don't know if it's just that like you are our 2 Welsh cast members, obviously, but like by the end of our recording, you guys did have like a full-on sibling relationship. It was just like at no point could you be left alone without some kind of chaos happening when we came back in. Like,
it definitely felt like being naughty kids anytime it was just me and Ang Harad in the living room waiting, and sort of came back like nothing.
Did we ever find out the end of that joke, Ang Harad? Is there a joke you told at one point that you were like, it'll be really funny when you tell it?
Oh, I forgot about this.
At some point. Yeah. I don't remember what this was. At one point you just said, I'm going to tell a joke. And then you sort of set it up, and then you were just like, well, we're waiting for an entire day. I don't know if this was this day or if this was another day.
Unrelated, but do you know what the most common type of owl is in the UK?
No.
It's a toot.
It's a what? The stream is so angry about your joke that it keeps cutting out like at the punchline.
I want to say it's teat, but
yeah, that's.
It is teat. So the most common type of owl.
Wait, is this
Where is this going?
This is exactly what happened.
Okay, so what is supposed to happen is you guys go, a tea towel? I've never heard of a tea towel. Like...
Everyone, this is the this is the cast of Camlann. We're really proud of them. They're all skilled professionals. Great at public speaking.
To work together.
They did. We paid them on purpose.
You were so right. I really want to.
Oh wait, no, hang on. I think you did actually tell this joke when we were recording, and the exact same thing happened when nobody got it.
You need to find that. You need to find that. It needs to go on the
Oh my gosh.
blooper reel.
I just, whew. Okay.
So if you want an idea of what it was like recording Camlann,
this is what it was
basically
like.
this, and then Amber, and it's just Ross slowly panicking and looking at us, going, "It's okay. I'm not going to do a Scottish accent because I will offend so many."
No,
people."
do Ross's voice.
Tobias could do the Scottish accent because Tobias is really good at Ross's accent. Actually.
Now I have to back this up that I've been told by Paul just now that my general Scottish is fine, but for some reason, Ross's voice to me is sort of like that. Come over here, we're gonna have a cigarette.
For the benefit of the people viewing, Ross's voice is not like that. You can listen to Ross's voice. Yeah,
I'm
it's a
gonna
really
go
soft, sweet
outside
voice.
and watch the football.
That's really not.
If you want to know what Ross's voice is actually like, check out Ross's queer horror podcast, Folkslore, FOLXLORE, and then come back to us in the next stream and tell us whether you think that Tobias's accent is a good impression or not.
Also, you tricked me into doing it because I only did it in the bit that wasn't on the stream, and now Ross is gonna hear it, and now I'm sad.
Yeah. Oh no!
I love you, Ross.
I think it's just for whatever reason, non-Scottish people find Glaswegian accents harder than like Edinburgh or like Fife ones.
Yeah.
That's been my experience.
I do think that there is like obviously like the parts of Scotland that are closer to the English border and stuff, and just generally have had a lot more English people in them, like have more sounds that are in both English and the Scottish accent. Whereas like I don't think that there was as much of an influx into Glasgow, which means that Glasgow retained a bit more of the unique sounds of the Scottish accent that are not in the English language as much. It's like this similar with like Wales, right? Where like, you know,
Oh no!
up like really northwestern Wales, then like people are going to really struggle.
I mean, I could guarantee I would never be able to tell the difference myself, so I've got no leg to stand on.
You say that, but I genuinely think you probably could if you heard someone with a really strong Northern Welsh accent and a really strong Southern Welsh accent. Like, they are very different. Oh, sorry, I'm speaking for Agharan and Tobias. I keep doing this. I'm sorry. I'm going to shut up.
Again, we'll just start talking in more familiar accents.
So, not to interrupt, but everyone froze for like 10 seconds, and so for 10 seconds, the stream just got me freaking out for 10 seconds while nobody moved. Got banished to the Shadow Realm for like 10 seconds. It was crazy. Oh no, it's happened again! Oh no! No!
It's
we
okay.
got it again. Yes.
Yeah,
we're here.
we
We're
did.
fine. Let's go for a third.
Somebody
Amber-
somewhere has a Millennium item.
Yeah, I was about to say it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Amber, take a deep breath. Everything's fine. It's all good. Don't even worry. It's fine. You know what? They came here for post-apocalyptic chat, and this is really giving them a visceral, immersive experience. If the internet was about to collapse, this is what it would feel like. No, I don't want to actually scare anyone. It's fine. It's just generally glitching.
There's an interesting talking about sort of anything from the episode, like talking about the Welsh accent, because I mean, I don't think it's spoilery to say that I do have to say lots of Welsh words in this, including my own name, but I do have more Welsh. I mean, we talked about the name of the boar, who I keep forgetting. I'm so sorry. Please could a Welsh person say it? Or Tugthraith. Is that even near anywhere where we go? Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna. But it was I was terrible, and it's interesting you're talking about the sort of British sounds versus the Welsh ones, because we had a lot of conversations about like Welshness and Welsh culture and Welsh language, because I am a filthy English person and I have such little knowledge about this wealth of folklore and storytelling and music and history and language. And it was such a delight recording this series because I learned so much. And I left and I sort of panicked a little bit because I was like, I'm a voice actor, this is my job, and I can't say any of these words. And they hired me and I said I could say these things because I thought I could say it. And it turned out all these words that I thought I knew how to say had sounds that I'd never heard of. And I chatted to said Amazing Wife about this, and she was like, well, of course, like your accent is deliberately designed to be the opposite of what the Welsh accent is. You know, they've tried deliberately to separate and pull apart these things. And so when I'm trying to do these, well, I'm just making excuses for myself, but I struggled so much with what I thought was going to be There you go. There we go. But yeah, it was interesting having to speak in a new language, and I hope I don't do too much of a service to Wales. But that's all. It's all Ella and your incredible connection with the Welsh history and folklore. I mean, please talk about it, because look, you have a platform.
This is a map of Wales in the Mabinogi, which is the oldest collection of Welsh folk tales that we have. It was written in the 12th century. We have it in the Black Book of Carmarthen and the Red Book of Rhydderch, and it's really cool. It has some reference to Arthuriana, including in Cilwch ag Olwen, which, if we do have any Welsh viewers, will know probably as like a quite silly story. But what's really cool about Cilwch ag Olwen is it's written in Old Welsh, which we date to about the 9th century, which is the 800s, which is really, really old. And actually, Tobias had to speak a little bit of Old Welsh later in the series, which was, I don't know, I think it was quite an experience for you, because Old Welsh was quite different to modern Welsh. Is that right?
Yeah, it's weird. Again, like working on this podcast kind of made me go away and sort of analyze the Welsh language more, or sort of the roots in it, and speaking to people who I know who speak bits of Cornish or speak bits of Gaelic and Gaelic, and even friends of mine who speak Arabic, because there's a lot of similar sort of throatal sounds within Welsh and Arabic. Like the ch is used in Welsh and Arabic quite a lot, and I'd never. Not that I never had interest in the Welsh language, because I'm a Welsh speaker. That was going to sound odd saying that and putting the language down. I've never had like an in-depth want to find out more about the language. Part of that is the podcast. Part of that is meeting Ella. And the way Ella talks about things and makes you go, I want to know more of this, leaves to get a book. Like,
I mean, I think Angharad got to the top of the class because Angharad brought a copy of the Mabinogi with her to the recording, and I was just like, this is the best thing that's ever happened. It's like, because there's a reference to the Mabinogi throughout. Yeah, there we go. Look at it. If you're wondering what collection or translation of the Mabinogi to read, I recommend Shauna Davies' translation. It's really good. Yes, this one. It's a really, really good and well thought through translation. Yeah, that's the paperback. Angharad, what did you think of the Mabinogi when you were reading it?
Yeah, it just made me really sad, because I was like, these are such beautiful stories, and I I grew up in quite a Welsh area. I speak Welsh. The school I went to was Welsh, and the most I learnt about like Welsh stories and culture in my life was doing this podcast from Ella, genuinely. So yeah, it kind of made me sad that I hadn't had these stories growing up. Like, I don't know what it is about Welsh culture in Wales and why it's not as deeply rooted as you would think. So yeah, similar. Yeah, that'll do it. But yeah, similar to Tobias, like doing this was a really cool opportunity to like go away and learn more about history, culture, stories. So yeah, I'm doing like a story like every few weeks. So yeah, it makes me look forward to going to bed.
Yeah, good. I'm really glad. And actually, when we're speaking about, as we said, Robin kind of struggled a bit with some of the sounds and words that they had to speak. I'm just going to do a PSA right now, which is like, hey, listen, if you're watching the stream and you have ever, over the course of your life, because of a result of the situation of the context of the British Isles, said something along the lines of, oh boy, they can't spell in Welsh, they're missing a few vowels, then I'm going to forgive you in exchange for you never saying it again, and I'm going to explain to you why you're wrong, politely and gently, because you're in private, which is to say that like the alphabet that we use to write English, when those characters are used in Welsh, they are referring to different sounds. So like as Tobias demonstrated, the h sound is like CH, but that's not obviously the way that in English we would say ch, or other sounds. The double L sound in Welsh is sh, which is obviously not the same as the English l, etc. The double D sound in Welsh is th. We actually do have that sound in English, but it's not shown the same way, right? Like we would show that as a th. So just understand that this is a profoundly different language. It's actually from a different branch of the Indo-European language tree. So where English is a Germanic language, Welsh is a P-Celtic language, which means that like we are really far away from Welsh as a language, and so using the same alphabet to express two different languages can be a bit confusing if you don't know anything about the other language. But it doesn't mean that that language is somehow lesser or misspelled. Anyway, one thing that's really cool and interesting is English has sounds, Germanic sounds that are quite different to Welsh sounds, but the Scottish accent, because of the history of P-Celtic peoples in Scotland, specifically the Picts. So you have like Scots Gaelic is Q-Celtic, which is to say like Gaeilge, which is like Irish, and is in its own different branch, whereas P-Celtic is like Cornish, as Tobias mentioned, Breton, Welsh as well. And what's really interesting is that when we go like eastern Scotland and northern Scotland, we get an accent that is more influenced by P-Celtic, which is like the same family as Welsh sounds, than we do like west and south in Scotland, which is more Q-Celtic. And then like obviously very far south, you start getting the influence of English and Germanic sounds, obviously. But what was really interesting was when we got Paul in on those last 2 days, and after we'd quarantined him, he had a couple of things to say in Welsh as well, and me, Angharad and Tobias very kindly acted as consultants for like pronunciation throughout the series, and they are credited as such, thanks to the fact that, as they've said, they are Welsh speakers, and like we owe a lot of the series to them. But we kind of, I don't know, like I want to put words in your mouth, Tobias, but I feel like you and I were kind of prepared to take a while helping Paul figure out how to say things. Like I was kind of prepared for that to take a couple different goes. And then we got in and Paul just did it in the first take. And this was how our Scottish and Welsh cast and crew members realized that like the Scottish accent and Welsh accent actually have like a bunch of sounds they share. Like the CH in loch is that same sound that we've been talking about. And it was something that like, I mean, Amber, I know you said you hadn't actually really realized until we recorded this series.
Yeah, well, I mean, because I sort of vaguely mentioned this to Ella when we were recording, but like, it's at least in my experience, and I'm aware that this is probably a bit of a generalization, but like, it's quite rare to hear Welsh up here, because it's one of these moments where you realize that like, oh yeah, things are further away than you think they are. So it was an entirely new thing for me to be hearing people speaking Welsh, and it was really, really wonderful. And then realizing that there were connections between what you're talking about Scottish languages and Welsh languages. Like we were talking about the word glass, which I think is like a sort of bluey green, or there's some debate over what it actually means.
Well, I mean, there's the modern Welsh glass, which is blue now. Is it blue now?
According to Duolingo, it's blue.
But,
yes.
Yeah, but on the medieval.
Glass.
Yes, but the medieval Welsh glass means a color that is as blue as the sky, as green as the grass, and as grey as the cliffs. And it's used to mean all of those colors synonymously. So it's often used to describe the sea off the coast of Wales because it's that grey, blue, green color.
Yeah.
But it's also used for any of those things, which is a very beautiful word. But then Amber said, like, well, of course, glass is in.
Well, so Glasgow, the literal meaning of it is dear green place, and I just thought it was really interesting that like there's that word that appears in all of it. Also, sorry, I mentioned Duolingo, and I've cancelled my subscription because they fired all their translators and replaced them with AI. So like that's terrible and awful. But the thing that the first seeds of me getting annoyed with Duolingo, they showed the word for glass and it said it was blue, and I'm like, oh okay, and then they showed the word for grass, which correct me if I'm wrong. It's like Glasveld, like
Glassweft.
Glassweft. Sorry.
Yeah.
Which is, and like grass is green. Why are they saying it's blue? And yeah, so that was a very small moment of getting frustrated with that fucking green bird. Anyway.
Two things. Fun fact, if you want some recommendations for other apps and websites to learn Welsh on, if you are moving away from Duolingo, we posted a bunch of links on our Tumblr today. So just search Cymraeg or Welsh on our Tumblr. Use both for when we're talking about that. Also, Paul, we've made lots of assertions about Scottish people feelings about Welsh and Scottish people saying Welsh words, and we haven't actually spoken to the person who had to act with that. How did you feel about it?
Well, I was going to say, well, like I said previously, very little experience personally with Welsh and Welsh accents and so on. Like the most memorable Welsh interaction I ever had, if you can even call it an interaction, was when that clip that went viral of the newscaster perfectly pronouncing the longest town name in the UK, like Clanfire.
Clanfire.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not going to try. But yeah, I was. It was good. It was good timing coming in and doing those few Welsh lines I did have to do in Camlann because the similarities we were talking about. Because I was, well, I don't know Scottish Gaelic at all personally. I was on a game project called A Highland Song that came out recently, and that has a lot of Scottish Gaelic, place names and things like that. And well, I didn't know any, as I say. MJ Deans, who played the main character Moira, she does, know Gaelic, so basically they got her to pronounce them all, record them, and then I basically mimicked that for my recording. So that helped a little bit to get my ear into Gaelic, I guess, and maybe that subconsciously helped with the Welsh for the few lines I did have to do. I was just glad I didn't muck it up, honestly.
You did a good job. You did an excellent job. It was. Oh, we froze it again.
Yeah, we're back.
We're back.
What was it? There was obviously we can't say what the scene is, but like I think it was Tobias. You said
you should not actually say that. That is a spoiler if anyone knows what it means.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually quite important. I do. I know exactly what you're talking about, and you can't say it. We were talking about the show recently, and I realized that something I was saying was a spoiler, and I had to stop like mid-sentence and be like, "Never mind. Don't even worry about it."
To move away from spoiler territory, going off of what Paul was saying about speaking the language and Ellie talking about our reactions to Paul saying the words, I do remember it very much being a thing of going, yeah, just go for it, try it, and then we can talk about it once you've tried it. And you just saying it once and sort of turning to Anne and be like, yeah?
It was just like...
And it was a really shocking moment because it was like, yeah, like you're saying, like you might not have heard those sort of words before. And yeah, hearing you not knowing those words and just going, is this it? And going, no, yeah, that's it. But that's bizarre. That's brilliant.
Well, it's Oh, you go.
Sorry. Oh, well, I don't know, maybe I just have like maybe I could have just gotten lucky, but like I've done a bit of like French and Spanish as well, and a lot of it feels like just eyeballing it and like guessing it for me for like pronunciation and things. So maybe I was just lucky with that.
Take the compliment. Take the compliment.
Yes, exactly. Take the compliment.
It was a short phrase.
I mean, I think like it's interesting. We haven't spoken that much about it, but like I found myself in an interesting position in terms of I love Wales and Welsh culture and the Welsh language and Welsh literature very, very much. But I am kind of in between in terms of like I obviously have quite a like Southern English accent as well, and so my pronunciation of Welsh words is not great, but I know what they should sound like because like I have knowledge of the Welsh language and I understand like how it's written and read and like what like letters mean. But for me that was a really interesting situation with then you guys like Angharad and Tobias, and like we had a couple times where you guys would have a bit of a debate about like a word or something because we were using quite a lot of old or uncommon or slightly weird words as well. Like how was that for you, Angharad?
Well, yeah, I mean, because I'm from North Wales and Spice is South Walian, and so there are different words we use for different things. So, like for girls, I would say genod, but Tobias, you would say merched, right?
I would say merched, but sorry, I have to correct you. I'm West Walian, Angharad. I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry. That's awful of me. But yeah, the worst one was when I told Tobias that he was pronouncing the word wrong, and we redid the scene, and then it turns out he was actually pronouncing it right. So then he had to read it again. So that was very, very embarrassing. But yeah, apart from that, it's very interesting. And like again, I think like as a North Walian, I get kind of annoyed because like when people talk about the Welsh accent they mean is like, hello, I'm from the Valleys. And like, for example, like that's all the castings I get through. They want me to do that accent, even though it's like it's nothing related to who I am, but which is fine. I'll do anything. But yeah, so it's nice, I guess, like working with someone like Ella who recognises like there are vast amounts of differences in the Welsh language, Welsh accents, Welsh culture. Yeah, go Ella.
Wow, thanks.
Again, and what we're sort of saying here is definitely we want Michael Sheen on board. Like, if anyone knows him, if anyone can tweet him, because this is the most Welsh thing I can imagine, and I feel like he would enjoy this and shout about it. So, if you know Michael Sheen, just, put him out there. The thing, the thing that Ella was mean for though is that Perry also. I'm not saying that
No, you can't. That is a spoiler as well. You cannot. I'm sorry.
I'm not saying
cannot.
no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying what. No, what I'm going to say is that Perry is very intelligent. Perry loves Welsh culture. I can absolutely say all of this, and
yes,
I'm not saying that Perry is based upon Ella in any way or form. More just that
they're actually based on a friend of mine, and I didn't realize that they were based on a friend of mine until another friend of mine read the script and was like, "Oh, this is clearly X person," and then I was like, "Oh fuck, it is X person," and then I had to send it to X person and be like, "I'm really sorry that I accidentally wrote a whole series about you." Di's way more like me than Perry is.
That's fair, but you did give Perry your ability to speak the Welsh, and so when we're talking about speaking it, I also couldn't do it badly because Perry, Robin may have just learned these words, but Perry has to be completely, and sort of from a voice acting perspective, it's something that I've been teaching. I teach kids, and I teach them voice acting, and sort of saying part of the difficulty is not just saying the word, but saying the word as your character would say the word, because as a character, Perry absolutely knows all of this, and so I'm kind of not just saying the technobabble stuff that Perry knows, but also this has to flow. And that was a real challenge, but it's something that you keep saying, "Oh, I don't pronounce it." You pronounce it so well. You always turn to these two and are like, "Am I doing it right?" And they're always like, "Yeah," and you're just like, "Oh no, I'm terrible." And no, you're so good at it. And so I was sort of sitting there going, how do you make these two languages? Because when you're doing an accent and then you flow into it, that's one thing. But when you go from one to the other, it can sound very jarring. But that was sort of one of those vocal challenges of the episode and of the series. But I know I'm not saying that. I'm not saying the spoiler. I promise.
Thank you for not saying the spoiler. You are a good Robin. And to be fair, like I thought you'd like really impressively handled that challenge. Like I felt that was a real demonstration of like acting skill and voice acting skill in terms of the ways that you like sold that confidence and that switching between the two. Tobias, I'm interested in your thoughts on all of this because you've not spoken on it yet.
What on the Welsh language?
On kind of like the way that the Welsh language is used in Camlann and the process of recording and how you felt about the process of recording and using different kind of like eras of Welsh and accents of Welsh.
So what I'll say on the language is the fact that it feels very natural. It doesn't feel like it's been shoved in for the Welsh just to be there. But this also ties into again why I love playing Di, because I am a queer person who has never been cast as a queer character before. And to be able to play a three-dimensional queer Welsh character who wasn't, as we spoke about, stereotyped Welsh or, yes. It's wonderful. And again, the language isn't shoehorned in. It's not like, right, we've written a Welsh character, so we need to have every third sentence feature a Welsh word. Like, it came up naturally, depending what we were speaking about or the context of what was happening. So it felt very natural. And I think that is the same. At no point reading any of the scripts did I suddenly go like, "Ooh, this feels forced." It all feels natural. It all feels like it comes from somewhere and it's influencing something, and it's just very well done. And I feel like I'm saying the same thing in a circle now, so I'm just gonna...
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I'll give you a $5 later. And thank you for recognizing that it's my birthday. And saying nice things about me.
It's true. It's so true. And it's the thing of like, as Robert was saying, like you being like, "Oh, is this okay?" Like you do have the relationship with the Welsh thing, and I don't think it's just the thing of like your love for it. It feels like connected to you. It feels like something that is within you. I don't know where I'm going with this, but yeah, it feels natural. It feels
Thank you. I mean, I will say, like, kind of a fun thing is, so that the cottage that the gang find in Camlann is based on my nan's house in Carmarthenshire, and I showed some pictures, and Tobias was like, "Oh yeah, reminds me of where I grew up as well, because it's quite similar landscapes." But then my nan listened to the episode, and she was like texting me and being like, "Oh, it's so nice knowing that the studio they're going into is our studio, and like knowing like the garage and stuff, and like recognizing the places that I'm talking about." It's also why for the chat I knew that the magazine is the benevolent confraternity of dissectologists. It's really easy because, like, in a lot of ways, the two characters that were there before our gang in the cottage are in a lot of ways my nan and her partner. They do have some funky details that may or may not ever come up depending on whether or not we make more of the show, but broadly speaking, big Jigsaw fans.
If anyone wants to know what magazine actually got used in the recording, it's it's very on brand. It's,
oh my god, is
the Radiophonic Workshop issue of Electronic Sound magazine. So,
of course.
which arrived halfway through recording, because I saw it. It was advertised to me on the Monday, and I bought it, and it arrived on the Wednesday. So I had to have this on my desk for the whole day when recording and not read it, which I think is growth for me personally.
It was a phenomenal self-control, honestly. Actually, also speaking of the history of sound, fun fact, everyone, we are currently on the 100th anniversary of the first drama that was broadcast on the BBC in 1924. It was called Danger. It's really cool. They actually recommended when they broadcast it that people switch the lights off so they would have a fully immersive experience. So maybe try listening to Camlann with the lights off and see if that helps. The drama was set in Wales. It was actually inspired by and raising awareness about a mining disaster that had happened. And it's like a really compelling drama. It wasn't the first piece of like audio fiction radio drama to be broadcast. That was back in 1922. That was Phyllis M. Twigg, The Fairy Dustman, which was kind of a children's Christmas story. And then after that, a couple of Shakespeare plays were broadcast in 1923, which were directed by a different woman. But in 1924, we get the first original drama written for radio broadcast on the BBC. And the anniversary is today. It was the 15th of January. So I feel really special. But also Camlann is really special because exactly 100 years after that came out, this show came out. And I think that's cool. So bit of radio drama history for you there.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think the oldest audio drama I've ever listened to is nowhere near that. It's probably the I think it was in the 70s, the BBC production of The Hobbit.
Oh yes! Oh my god, good taste, gang. That was good choices.
I got the whole like anthology thing one Christmas, or it was my birthday, I think, and I just sent like 10-year-old me to sleep so many times. It was lovely.
That makes me so happy. There are so many Lord of the Rings references in this show.
I have a very particular memory of that particular adaptation, and I don't know why. You know, sometimes like a line from something just lodges in your brain, and it's one of the drones going, "There you are, Gandalf," in that very particular BBC wobble, and it's just it lives in my brain with all the other little quotes, which was
well, talking about lines that stick out, like Amber and I used to do a radio drama book club, which sadly I think is on hiatus, but I remember we listened to an adaptation of Carmilla that was quite old, and they had these Scottish characters.
Scottish
I might be interested in
hearing Scottish characters.
Was it Carmilla? It was a...
It was like a version of Carmilla. It was a version of Carmilla where instead of her being bad, it was like the daughter of Dracula or something. It was definitely a lady vampire, but she felt really bad about being a lady vampire.
Yeah,
it was written by Angela Carter, I think.
Yeah. It's very...
But was it queer?
No, that was the thing. It was really annoying. It was annoying for a bunch of different reasons. One of them was the like absolutely wild Scottish stereotype. Like they were introduced with like blaring bagpipes, and then like they only were in the drama for like 3 minutes.
Look, it was made in the 60s. They hadn't invented Scottish actors yet. Like they had.
Yeah. And then you just get these two actors just doing this, just like incredibly. I don't even know how to describe it. Like
the guy was really like religious as well, and he was like very pious. Was,
like,
yeah,
they were evil. Like also,
it was very funny.
Yeah, the Scottish characters were evil. They were violent, evil, stupid, poor, and then just really loud bagpipes, and then they were gone. And it was like, wow, that was a trip. Anyway, that's the.
what would happen if a really religious person wrote about vampires? Like, I don't know, a Mormon? What kind of thing would happen then? It would be shocking.
Well,
They'd
then
be worried about their souls and marriage and things like that.
I don't know. I think that then that person would probably describe a floor-length beige skirt as the sexiest thing a man could see a woman wearing, which is a thing that happens in those books. And God bless them, it is very Mormon.
Good lord, ankles. Good lord.
Although you actually, mentioning Carmilla, this is such an organized stream. I am directing an adaptation of Carmilla, an audio adaptation. It's going to be on the Read Dracula podcast feed, which I also partially directed. It's going to be starring Sasha Sienna and Maeve de Bruyn. Maeve is going to be playing Carmilla. It's going to be awesome. I'm very excited to get it up. Carmilla, if you're not familiar, is the first vampire novel. It was the inspiration for Dracula by Bram Stoker, and it is also a sort of dark lesbian gothic romance. It's great. This young woman, Carmilla, sort of lures special friends who are pretty young women for her to kiss in her bed and tell that they belong to her, and her heart burns for them and she will never let anyone else have them, and just like good friends do.
Historians will say they were roommates.
Oh my god, they were roommates. there will be ankles, you can confirm that, yeah?
There will be ankles, yeah. No, ankles on display, I know.
It's not the most interesting body part in terms of audio.
yeah. Amber, how I told you to sound design the sound of someone seeing an ankle? Yeah.
Oh, yes. It's much more of a kind of sound. It's good. It's sort of... It's just more wet than you might think. It's quite strange.
But that's a point though. So Amber is going to be doing streams where they unpack the scoring and sound design of each episode of Camlann. So that if you're interested in like producing audio drama and the kind of behind the scenes stuff, then they'll be like opening up the project files and explaining to you how they did stuff. Amber, you baited the folks watching the stream by saying that they had to spot the 2 moments where you played the dog. Can you now reveal where you played the dog? I feel like I'm on a BBC breakfast show. Can we now reveal the answer to the question? Have we had enough callers?
I can now reveal. So for Gellert, the marvelous dog character, I was like, well, how are we gonna put this character in the show? And initially, I was gonna ask a couple of friends of mine to try and record their dog, but then I realized that was not gonna, as someone who has tried to record their cat for sound design libraries on this very stream, it doesn't go well. So I thought, what, I'll bite the bullet. We have a tiny little bit of budget. I will just buy a dog sound effect library, and the one I got was really good. Just as a little tangent, if you are ever looking for, if you're ever just wanting something to listen to that will just chill you out and make you feel happy, just go to any website where you buy sound effect libraries and look up just dogs, because all the sound effect packs have like lovely like acoustic guitar music with somebody going, hello and welcome to dogs, and underneath you've got all these lovely dogs just barking and making sounds underneath. It's glorious. I had such a fun afternoon. Anyway, so the pack that I got covered most of the sounds, right? But there were a couple of things where I was like, I'm going to need to do that myself. The first one, I think somebody in the chat actually guessed it. It's Gellert shaking. That wasn't me just having a shower and then going, blah, blah, blah. It was, I did actually do it properly. I got some washing up gloves and sort of put them lightly on my hands and just did that. And then it sort of flapped together and got the sound. I then later realized that there was actually a shaking sound effect in the sound effect library, and Ella, I think I showed you both of them, and
yes,
then,
you did.
They were they sounded quite similar. I was very proud of myself.
It was impressive.
The other one's the really silly one. So at the start of, I think it's scene 5, it's the scene in the garage where Ankara decides to destroy my office. But at the start of that scene, Gellert's supposed to be sniffing around. And there was no sniffing around sound in the dog sound effect pack that I had bought. So basically, I had to go out into the hallway and tell my wife, I'm going to be doing something weird in the studio. Don't come in. Close the door, hit record, and then literally just go right up to the mic and go. And so that's Gellert in that scene. So that was...
It's just honestly iconic work, and I mean, I don't know how we can possibly top like that reveal that Amber is the secret extra actor of Camlann.
I am the cum dog.
Yes, but we have 17 minutes left of the stream. If anyone has any like questions you want to ask us about the show, if there's anything you want to let us know, please do. We will answer them as best we can. I'm trying to think of things that we couldn't answer. I don't know what dark matter is. I haven't yet figured that one out.
I am scrolling back to see if we have any questions. I don't think we do.
If there are no good questions, the nonsense we talk about is your responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's your fault. You made this happen. Like, okay, like we came in. Oh, hang on.
What
We've
do
got a
you
question
think?
on the chat.
Oh.
No, I need
What
to
do
know
you
what
think
I
the
heard.
most common? What do you think the most common type of owl is?
I remember that earlier when someone was talking and I started just laughing to myself. We have actually had a question in the chat though.
Okay, no, okay. Will the big pig be back? Tragically, no. So Turktroith is taken from Cilach Galwen, which I was mentioning before. So Cilach Galwen is a really, really old story. It's the oldest reference that we have to King Arthur. Fun fact. And that's kind of one of the reasons that we believe that King Arthur is Welsh, because the French stuff references the Welsh stuff. Really interestingly, the Welsh stuff we have, the Mabinogi. In the Mabinogi, King Arthur turns up and is not the main character. Like, the Mabinogi is just like, oh yeah, like King Arthur's over there, but like, whatever. But the fact that the Mabinogi kind of assumes that whoever is reading or hearing it knows who King Arthur is tells us that, like, at least for a Welsh audience, they assumed that you would be like, you would already have memorized the whole of King Arthur's court, which is really interesting. Plus, there's a lot of Welsh names that get kind of like turned into French when they move across through Brittany into France, and we get things like Chrétien de Troyes and Marie de France, and so you have like Peredur becomes Perceval, for example, and like that story is like repackaged and repeated, but just in a different way. So Turktroith is in Cilach Galwen, which is a fantastic satirical medieval joke, and I love it. It's one of my favorite things. It's taking the piss out of medieval stories like Arthurian legends. It's like, aren't they really stupid? And so as part of that, Turktroith is this giant boar, which can only be chased by Arthur's hounds, that has poisonous spines and a comb in his back. And the comb in his back is the only comb that can comb the hair of a giant called Ysbyddaden, who has a really hot daughter, which is plot relevant in Cilach Galwen, but I'm not going to go into it. Anyway, they don't actually kill Turktroith, although Turktroith kills quite a few of Arthur's knights, because what happens is that once they've got the comb, Turktroith just jumps into the Irish Sea and swims to Ireland, and that's the last time we see him in all of Welsh literature. And I think that's really funny. So in Camlann, Turktroith just kind of turns up running as Turktroith does, and then just runs off, and we never see him again, because that's what Turktroith does. He just kind of appears and then leaves. So tragically, no, he will not return.
We did have to have Sorry.
Oh, the other names for the phenomena, I like kind of standard stuff, you know, so like the folk, monsters, the creatures, whatever. But there was something that I wanted to. This is kind of a plot point, but I guess to be fair, it's for you to interpret as you like. In my head, the phenomena are more like forces of nature. Our main characters don't know whether they are like kind of deliberate or organized, or if they have some kind of hive mind, or if they're on purpose tormenting them or whatever. And I wanted a word that kind of reflected the fact that they are relatively neutral, like that you can't tell, like they don't, it's not easy to see that they are clearly organized. It's not easy to see that they are clearly not. They are something so wondrous and miraculous and strange that there isn't an easy human word to describe them. And so they are phenomenal. They are literally phenomenal. And so they seem unusual. Oh my god, this one's so cute. Can the cast describe their character's perfect Sunday? Angharad, what's Morgan's perfect Sunday?
Perfect Sunday. Maybe like pulling a car apart and then putting it back together. But doing it with Di there and pretending that she finds Di really annoying, but actually she's really glad that he's there. And then maybe just reading some queer romance novel in the evening.
Oh, that's perfect. Okay, Paul, what's Gwen's perfect day? Perfect Sunday.
I guess just day out day of sports, pretty unlike myself, if I'm being honest. But day of sports, and then just chilling with a film or something with the M&Ms with dye, with the M&Ms, the blue ones picked out, obviously. Nice film or something to wind down.
I love it. Tobias, what's Dai's perfect Sunday?
I will say, but I also have to give context to the question being asked in the chat because that is my wife partner.
Oh, yay! Hi, wife partner.
The reason they are asking that is because in our D&D campaigns, we have a running joke where we go up to random NPCs that we've not met yet and gone, "What's your perfect Sunday?" So context for that. I think Dai's perfect Sunday is turning the living room into the floor is lava style obstacle course. And running it, going, hey, look what I'm doing. Look at this. Look at this.
Yeah.
Look what I could do.
Yep.
And then getting tuckered out and having a nap.
Yeah. Valid, correct, co-signed. Robin, what is Perry's perfect Sunday?
I'm torn between finding that library that they have in Avatar: The Last Airbender and chilling out there for ages with the giant owl. No, I think it's probably a good coffee shop and a good book and a good cup of tea and chilling out, maybe with some kind of cake. I mean, is this pre or post? Because if it's pre, I think it's probably with looking at whatever current hyperfixation's going on. Maybe going for a bit of a walk, but mostly staying warm with nice tea. I'm not just describing my day, but I think it's post. I think it's spending time with Morgan and Diane. I think it's I think Perry wants a soft time and isn't often given it, but also Perry doesn't know how to have a soft time. So I think it's hard to unwind and relax. But I think for the post everything occurring, it's everybody safe, everybody well, everybody having a nice time and reading books.
Correct and true. I love it. Lou, there is something from the first branch, but it's neither pues nor around. How long have I been working on it? 8 years. 8 years. It's taken a really long time. Max, does Dai want to hang out? Tobias, does Dai want to hang out?
Yeah, we're hanging in the chat.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't written anything in the chat, I realised that, but
so a couple of different people have asked this for everyone. Was there anything apart from Welsh that folks found challenging or something new that they had to learn how to do during the recording of the podcast? So was there anything particular that you were like, oh, I feel like I've learned something new here, or anything where you were like, oh, this was actually quite tricky to do?
Well, there's the radio thing that I've already mentioned. There's another thing that happens later that I can't talk about.
Yeah, that's true. You can't talk about it. Good job.
Obvious. Find out 10 weeks from now. Ask me again and I'll let you know.
I have a similar answer in that there's something I realised emotionally I could do to myself that I cannot talk about. That sounds really weird wording it.
No, it sounds, and it also sounds really dark. I love it. Angharad and Robin?
I mean, there's one that
You go, Robin.
Atmospheric. There's a lot of being outside and needing to fight weather conditions, and doing that vocally was interesting, because I've not done much audio drama. I'm used to audiobooks where I'm just sat on my own and talking to myself for 7 hours, can you tell? But in terms of working in audio drama, you're working with everybody else. So two things. Yeah, one thing is that skill of sounding like you're outside and pitching that up and knowing there's going to be sound design and making it sound like that. So that's one thing. And the other thing is, sometimes in my head I want to do a line and I know I've done it wrong and I just want to do it again, and I'm just like, no, I know how to land that, but I'm in the middle of a scene now. So you can't, because you can't be selfish, because you're also giving back. And although there is always a chance to catch up a line after a take, if you're like, I think can we just do it, like, can we do it as a pickup? It is a different experience, especially being in the room. Recording audio drama when everyone's around a microphone, it becomes far more of a radio play, and that has different. As I said, as somebody's used to working alone. No, the thing I love about acting is the community feel, and often audio and radio drama loses that because we're all in individual booths in our own little caves. So it was lovely to do it, but it was challenging because you can't be selfish. You have to be very giving, which is a delight, but also vocally different.
I have to say, actually, when we cast Paul, one of the things that I remember being most striking was that Paul's audition piece required Gawain to be walking through snow at one point, and he performed like walking through snow so convincingly. It was just like, God damn, okay, all right, you sound freezing cold. Good job. Paul, have we who have we not asked? Harad, yes, thank you.
Oh, well, basically everything, because it was my first ever audio drama, so everything that I did was new. But yeah, kind of similar to what Robin was saying, I think it's just like having those little moments that you won't hear, you won't hear drama, but they give you something as the actor. So like I won't say what it is because it's sort of a spoiler, but there's a moment between myself and Nicole in episode 3, which we kind of like we really like we did it even though you can't hear it. So that was like just learning like that stuff like that kind of helps the performance and gives extra texture. I also learned how to drink whiskey.
Yes, Ross.
About that. Yeah.
Ross gave us a whiskey tasting masterclass, which was not relevant to the audio drama, but I'd never liked or knew how to drink whiskey properly before, but now I do, and I like it.
We all love Ross and we miss him, and hopefully he will join us at one of these streams. But either way, get Ross on your project. Ross is a wonder and a miracle worker. Okay, we've had many questions. On the D&D thread, what is each of the cast's D&D class they'd play? So I'm not sure if Harad knows what the D&D classes are, so I'm going to help you with that in a minute. I'm assuming Perry, Tobias, and Paul do know. I'm just reading you as nerds right now, but yeah,
oh yeah. Don't worry about it.
Keep calling me Perry.
I have. I adore you, but yeah. Okay, cool. So, Paul, what class would Gawain play, and what class do you like to play?
Well, the thing is about me liking to play, I've not actually played much D&D. I had like a couple of really like slapdash one shots once upon a time, but I've not actually had like a full-on campaign of D&D. Sadly, I know the universe and all that sort of stuff. I'm going to play Baldur's Gate 3 eventually, so on and so forth. Anyway, the knee-jerk answer for what class Gawain would be Paladin, but as we've established in episode 1, he has commitment issues. So I would just go fighter, I guess.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you're right. I don't think that Gawain actually could commit to a deity. I think he'd break his oath really fast. Yeah, I like it. Good read. Tobias, what's Dai's class?
So my class, which I'm currently actually playing, my partner is running Candlekeep for us, and it is wonderful. And I am playing a Kenku rogue.
Oh, cool.
For anyone that doesn't know what a Kenku is, it's basically a little flightless crow that can only talk through mimicry, and it is really fun. But you can really annoy your friends very quickly with this character. Dai would 100% be a halfling bard.
Oh, he would. He would. Oh, my baby boy. Again, he's just a hobbit. He's a hobbit. Robin, what class would Perry play?
Perry might be a cleric, but I can't work out which school, because I don't play cleric, so I don't know enough to quantify that. But again, there's an argument for wizard. I don't know if Perry. I don't think Perry is one, but I think Perry would play one. If Perry played D&D, they might play a wizard. But I think they like the idea of learning lots of things. But yeah, probably a cleric.
I agree.
You probably have more details on that. I don't know. Does anyone play clerics?
I feel like I love a cleric, and also for sure, like Perry, because Perry, if they lived in D&D land, would be like, man, I wish I could be a wizard, but my friends keep getting hurt, so I have to prioritize that instead. Like they would be like a cleric, and they would take a subclass in wizard, I think. You were gonna say who you played? Oh no, did we lose Angarad?
Oh, we lost
Oh no!
Angarad was like, I'm not gonna answer this question no matter what.
Opening this can of worms.
He threw a multi-tool at the laptop.
Angarad, are you there?
Hi.
Hello.
Yes. Well, in answer, I play rogues and I play monks, unsurprisingly. Essentially, just max out my dexterity and I'll handle the rest. I played a bard at one point, and I think I've played a fighter because I wanted to play a version of Seahawk, and it allowed me to speak in this ridiculous voice for the entire campaign, and my wife hates it. So, yes.
Lovely.
But mostly rogues.
I love it. So Angharad, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All is well. So Angharad, I'm not going to try and teach you D&D in the 2 minutes left of the stream. But what I am going to say is that I've got a pretty good idea of what Morgan is likely to be. So I'm going to give you some options, and you can pick one from the options. So in D&D, there are ways that you get magic. You either get magic from praying to a god, by reading and learning about it through knowledge, or by being born with something that is out of control, or by making a deal with a not trustworthy deity. So I think that you're probably either a sorcerer or a warlock. So warlocks, they make a deal with like an archdevil or an archfey. In exchange for their powers, they make a pact where, like, in exchange for getting power to protect something or to have power to do something, they bind their soul to like some greater creature, some godlike creature. Or sorcerers have like out of control natural magic. So they never have to read books or pray to gods to get their magic. And their magic is much more tied to their emotions. It tends to be a lot more volatile and destructive. And they they don't have to be emotional, but often people play them in an emotional way. Which do you think that kind of Morgan would be? Oh, I guess an artificer actually as well. So artificers are people who are inventors and like people who like make machines and objects and stuff and use magic to kind of create little like robots and inventions and things like that. But they tend to be more on the like studying and knowledge side. But since Morgan has engineering, I'm tired.
So which of those, Anghara?
Yeah.
Which of those? A bit of all of them. I mean, the one about being born with something that's out of control, very topical for the show, and something that is kind of explored a little bit more in episode 2. Can I say that? Is that a spoiler?
Yeah, you can say
You
that.
can say that, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's left. Where it's just us.
Yeah, all of the above. I'm worried about answering this because I feel like I will say something really stupid.
No, sweetie, you won't. You won't. It's okay. It's a silly question.
My whole recording experience is just being like, what are you guys talking about?
We have had a lot of like all of us like kind of like slowly but surely making Angharad and Nicole learn things about nerd culture that they did not previously know.
You ever explain ABO verse to people?
No, we're not gonna. Robin, hey, listen. Would
It's
you look
10
at that?
o'clock.
It's the end of the stream. Never mind. But you know what? Like the ABO verse, it makes sense for the supernatural reference we have. Supernatural did invent ABO. Anyway, that's it, guys. Thank you all for watching. We appreciate you coming. We hope you enjoyed the first episode. If you did enjoy the first episode of Camlann, we need your help. Ideally, we need you to post about it on social media, recommend it to friends, family, colleagues, whatever, customer if you're feeling particularly vindictive, and review the show, please. So giving us like 5-star reviews, giving us positive reviews on whatever platform you're listening on, doesn't matter. Really, really, really helps people listen to the show. Often, like whether or not a show has a rating and whether or not it has reviews is the thing that like makes people decide whether or not they want to listen. So even if it's just one sentence, even if it's just "I like it," that is great and really helpful. So we'd appreciate it if you would consider leaving us a review. On Wednesday, Amber is going to be back talking about the scoring of the show, the incredible music, which I've seen a lot of people talking about, and you're right, it's beautiful. They've done an incredible job. And next Monday, they're going to be talking about the sound design of episode 1. So they're going to be opening the project file and explaining to you how they did everything, not just sniffing the microphone and being alert. And then
that is most of it, sadly. That is most of it.
That is most of it. Sound designing the ball was easy in comparison. And then the week after next, we'll be back with another one of these streams to talk about episode 2. Various members of our cast and crew will and won't attend at different times. I hate to break it to you, but we all do have lives outside of these 2 hours. So we may or may not be here, but Amber and I will always be here because we don't have lives outside of these 2 hours. And also, we like spending time with each other. I've said that for Amber so that they can't disagree with me. You can find our updates on socials at CamlannPod. We have a Tumblr, we have an Instagram, we have a Blue Sky, we have a Twitter. I guess we have a Facebook page if you're really feeling fancy. We do.
Okay. Oh God.
But yes, I guess like kind of I am assuming, Amber, you have some sign-off stuff that you might like to do, but I guess before that, we'll sign off with our lovely cast to tell people where they can find you online and any projects that you want to boost. So starting with Angharad, is there somewhere that people can follow you on socials, and are you working on anything that you want people to pay attention to, or do you just...
My Twitter, I'm Angharad, ANGHARAD _15. And then Instagram, angharad.phillips15. And I'm not currently working on anything. So I don't know. Give me some more work, please.
I mean, genuinely, I do recommend Angharad as a fantastic voice actor. So I know we've had a few podcast producers in the chat. If you do want to hire our wonderful Morgan to do some voice acting for you, especially give her her enrichment in her enclosure. She loves playing violent, vicious, and traitorous characters. No spoilers. Think Medea. Okay. Yeah, that's why. Paul, where can we find you on socials, and is there anything you want to boost?
On Twitter, I am at NeverNotNinjas. I have an Instagram, but I barely use it because I just don't take photos ever. We discussed this during the creation of Camlann. But recent things, I don't know if there's anything I can talk about right now. There are things happening, but Highland Song, if you like video games, it's like a cozy Explore the Highlands game. They could use a purchase and a review if you're looking for a nice cozy game to play in bed, on your Switch even potentially. If you find out there's another game that's come out recently, yeah, thank you.
Good. Strongly recommend Highland Song. Really wonderful game. Tobias, where can we find you online? Is there anything you want to boost?
I am on Instagram at Tobias_Weatherburn and Twitter at T W Heatherburn. I don't know why I chose to say it like that. T W Heatherburn. I want you to find me. I don't use any other socials. Things to plug. Similar to Paul, I'm working on several video games at the moment, including a AAA release, but I can't talk about any of them. But fun. They'll be announced at some point this year.
Can we get some oohs in the chat, please?
Yeah, it's not GTA 6, which anyone I speak to is like, is it GTA 6? Like, no. And then they want to know nothing. Like, there are other games.
I don't know. I believe in you. You could steal a car.
Yeah.
That's a different. That's not okay.
I couldn't. And then generally, I'm currently. Oh, I need to try and make this a very short description. I am currently working as a creative puzzle designer, creative associate, and performer on a theatre/online show with a neurodiverse-led company called Hijinks Theatre, who are based in Cardiff. They are absolutely wonderful. They've done a lot of shows called Meet Fred, which is toured around the world and things like that. But this show is in essence an in-person escape room / performance, which is also played at the same time online by a different audience in an 8-bit video game, which has puzzles. And I have been designing the puzzles for it. I do weird things. And the escape room elements, and then I'm performing both online and in person. So if you want to play it online, it's called Meta versus Life, and it is Hijinks Theatre. So look it up because it has never been done before, and it's also in association with Punch Drunk. So for anyone that knows theatre, we are working with members of Punch Drunk on it, and it's very fun and not ready yet, but we don't open yet, so it's fine. But yeah.
It's extremely cool. The challenge that you have, Robin, is to impress and confuse everyone as much as Tobias just did. Where can we find you online, and do you have anything you want to boost?
Oh God, you can find me in most places. I'm terminally online these days. It's very impressive when I say I have a TikTok to the kids I teach, because they go, "Oh, yeah, I have a TikTok, Robin Holdaway." Most of my things are at Robin Holdaway. So yes, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, stuff like that. The stuff I do on TikTok is generally trans and queer educational content. I review chest binders. I muse about identity and do stuff like that. I also do silly videos about Camlann, so do come and check us out on there. In terms of what I'm doing at the moment, there's this. Please do support this. Otherwise, I've had quite quiet times too. I've done a little bit, audio drama again. There's a couple of things that I can't talk about. There's a few audio books I've done that are quite fun. If you like Camlann and you like, for some reason people hear my voice and go, you can be a knight. So Sisters of Sword and Shadow I think is out now, and Sister Song's a really lovely one. Again, lots of the stuff I do is very queer. And then if you want to see telly stuff, I think Infamy's come out, which is a Polish series looking at kind of Romany identity and things like that, and that's on Netflix, so you can also see that. Yeah, I hope that was confusing.
No, hey, you know what?
Very
It was
clear.
both confusing and impressive, and I like that. You can find me online at GEJ Watts on all of the places. The main things I'm doing right now are this and Marvel Move, which is an app that you can download where you get to listen to a bunch of audio dramas with Marvel superheroes, and it's really cool. It sounds like we have loads of resources, but we actually don't, so please do check it out and tell your friends. I would appreciate it as a personal favor. Apart from that, as I said, I'm going to be directing an adaptation of Carmilla that's going to come out on the Regarding Dracula feed. That's going to be really cool. Regarding Dracula is a free audiobook of Dracula told in chronological order with an ensemble cast. It's really fun. I directed it. I like directing. Bloop, 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 bloop. Hire me. Yeah, that's me. Okay. Amber, do you want like control of your stream again?
No, it's all right. You take. No, it's fine. Yeah, that is us for our stream tonight. We're gonna like Ella said, I'm gonna be back here on Wednesday, going behind the scenes of the music of episode 1. Got to try out some fun new stuff with episode 1. With this entire series, got to try out a lot of new audio stuff. So if you've been around here a while, it's going to be very exciting because it's unlike anything else I've ever made before, which is very, very fun. Otherwise, I am otherwise I'm Tin Can Audio everywhere. Currently working on this, obviously, and then hopefully we're going to have part 4 of The Tower this year. So we're going to be finishing The Tower later this year. And more immediate, I'm going to be on Radio 4 in the UK in February. I've been commissioned to do a piece for their Shortcuts program, which is incredible. It's like a big tick on the bucket list. That's coming out in February at some point. Yeah, I'll be talking about that every time I'm on here, so you'll soon be very bored of me talking about it. But yeah, thank you so much for coming along tonight. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much if you stayed for the end. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed while they've been watching. That is incredible. Thank you so much. And thank you to our fantastic cast, and thank you to Ella for coming along and spending some time here. We look forward to seeing you back for future streams when we do more of this. And yeah, wherever you are, whether it is morning, afternoon, or evening, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you soon. So goodbye, everyone. Good night. Bye.
Bye. Good night.